she could have also been referring to the Jews, given her history of anti-Semitic remarks. So we have no idea. Either liberals, the Jews, liberal Jews, we don't know for sure. Also, that FEMA is actually, when they do rescue, they're trying to seize land for lithium in order
for
to
the
mine
lithium
it
deposits
for batteries. Yeah. So it's just like one thing after another. But yeah, it's really dangerous and scary stuff. And it's actually so bad that FEMA had to put up a basically rumor debunking section of their website for like the first time, where they're like, these lies are so pervasive and they're all over the place that we actually have to go line by line and fact check them. And of course, Elon Musk has played a role in this as well, making it worse. But this is huge, man. It's insane. We've not seen this sort of dis and misinformation about natural disasters in recorded American history. This is like exponentially increased. I wonder what you think about that.
I worry. I mean, we've talked about this a lot. I don't know if my doomerism came off in the last in the canvassing event that we just did, but I don't know if we've already crossed a threshold. But the unification of Elon Musk, Donald Trump, corrupt member, not corrupt, intellectually corrupted members in the House, and I guess like the social media landscape in general are all working together in a way that I have never seen before to pump out misinformation. It's incredibly scary, incredibly damaging. I'm curious for your opinion. I saw on my subreddit that there was a call posted where a guy had called into a radio program who sounded like he was tearing up because his father or father-in-law was basically refusing supplies from FEMA, saying that he didn't trust them, he didn't want to pay back a loan, he was waiting for somebody else to show up. Do you have any idea if that call was real? Or I don't know if any more information came out about that, or I don't know if you even heard it, or what I'm referring to.
My father-in-law lives just outside of Asheville, North Carolina, and he was badly damaged by Hurricane Helene. And he has refused all FEMA help because he's a hardcore Trumper. And he literally believes that if he accepts anything from FEMA, they're going to take his house. I don't understand how so many people are under the spell of this freaking con man. I don't understand it.
Well, it's absolutely heartbreaking about your father-in-law. I'm so sorry to hear it. I hope.
And it's hard to even imagine it. I mean, he lost almost everything, and he's refusing all help from the federal government and complaining to us that he doesn't have food, that he doesn't have the stuff he needs, and yet he won't accept the help. What the hell are we supposed to do? We're not in a position to be able to fly across the country and help him. Yeah. There's people begging us to get him to accept help, and he won't do it.
Wow.
And I guarantee you, I'm not the only one. I guarantee you, I'm not the only one.
I wish there was something I could say as to, I don't know. Does he have access to any electronics where you could send him some information debunking this, and that he might?
We've done all of that. We've done all of that. We've sent him all the FEMA bulletins. We've sent him all the stuff from the fact checkers. He doesn't believe it. He thinks it's all, he just believes Trump. Literally, Dan, it's a cult. He's a cult member. I'm sorry to say it. He's a cult member. And he's my father-in-law, and it sucks.
No, I did hear the call. It went viral. It was even retweeted by Vice President Harris's official, campaign Twitter. So not to say that it's guaranteed that call is legit, but it seems to me that if the Vice President's own official Twitter page was going to regurgitate it, that it has some factual basis. But let's just assume that specific call is fake. Let's just grant the cynical premise that it's not true. Is it really outside the realm of possibility that there are people in these situations that, Stephen, when we linked up for the canvassing event, we discussed your mother, and I've said that, my late mother was a big fan of Donald Trump. She died before the 2020 election, but we have family members and friends who I could easily see in the situation described in that phone call, where they're just sitting in the ruins of their home, in the ground zero of a natural disaster, because they fear that the Biden-Harris administration will either not help them or will thwart them. I could easily see that happening.
You probably can't make it out from here, but my mom sends me all of these messages. It absolutely does not surprise me. She sent me one for wouldn't it be crazy if one of the richest lithium deposits in the world was right outside of Asheville, North Carolina? Wouldn't it be crazy if the largest lithium mining company in the world, 3 days before the flood began, submitted the permits for their mine rights? Or she sends me all of this stuff. This doesn't surprise me at all. Like, if it is fake, it could absolutely be real. But I mean, like, obviously, yeah, I'm always super paranoid that somebody's trying to.
And the other thing I think is worth noting here. Well, no, I was just going to say, and there could be some lag here, which might be if we're stumbling over each other. But what I was going to say was the other thing that's so important about this is it would be bad enough, Stephen, if these were just legions of MAGA voters peddling this disinformation or this misinformation. It would be bad and dangerous enough. But what makes this even more insidious is you have elected members of Congress. You have Republican politicians who, quite frankly, should be held to a higher standard than the voters. I mean, we used to believe in the Uncle Ben Spider-Man notion that with great power comes great responsibility. And so you should hold your elected officials to a higher standard. This is being signal boosted by Marjorie Taylor Greene. And the reason, and not just Marjorie Taylor Greene, but also, again, other MAGA Republicans, it's so important to note because as the election rapidly approaches, what we hear all the time is, this both sides, right? Both sides engage in dis and misinformation. This is a further nail in the coffin that there is no counterpart. There is no Democrat like Marjorie Taylor Greene. There's no Democratic counterpart to MTG. There's no Democratic counterpart to Donald Trump. Yes, precisely. And the list goes on and on and on.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but
bullshit that people peddle.
The House Republicans are insane. Like, I have to tell people that, like, oh, did you see this thing that came out of the House? If it comes from the House Republicans, you cannot trust it. It is meaningless. Like, you can read the material and try to fact check it, but you can never take anything that comes at face value from the House Republicans. The stuff they publish in there is insane. It's actually insane. Sorry, we could go on, but yeah, Jesus, holy Christ. Yeah.
Well, and what's also funny too is I'll give you we should not hang our hats on this. This is nothing. It's sad that this is even noteworthy, but it is in the political context. So there is a Florida freshman congresswoman who she represents one of Florida's districts in the United States House of Representatives. Her name is Anna Paulina Luna, and she's one of the more infamous incoming freshman Republicans. She actually hosted a town hall with Donald Trump into Hurricane Helene, like as Hurricane Helene was going on. And she signal boosted his lies. She said things like, Mr. President, this is just my opinion, but I totally agree with you that FEMA's not doing what they can to help the American people. And you need to do more, FEMA. And then she was one of the Republicans who voted against, just weeks earlier, additional FEMA funding, number one. She voted against it, struck it down. Number two, days after she signal boosted all these lies, she gets a phone call from President Biden. And apparently they have a really good phone call such that Anna Paulina Luna goes on Twitter and says, hey, I just got off the phone with President Biden. He was really helpful. He said that the federal government's going to foot the bill for debris removal and all these things. And actually, Speaker Mike Johnson, you need to reconvene Congress in order to pass additional FEMA funding. So again, it's staggering that a Republican congresswoman is actually for a brief moment doing her goddamn job, and actually acknowledging that the Biden-Harris administration is doing its job. And she's publicly calling the Republican speaker to reconvene so they can have additional funding that she voted against just weeks ago. And so to me, it's just the whole thing is so staggering. And then the last thing I'll say is in response to that, Mike Johnson has reaffirmed that he will not reconvene Congress, and they're just going to have to deal with it when they go back into session. And this abdication of duty is something that I wish more Americans cared about. The election should not be this close.
It absolutely should not be this close. Also, when you not to hang our hat on it, like you said, I won't hang my hat on it, okay? The question that I have then is, when something like that happens, and somebody wants to give credit to somebody for figuring something out, right? Like, imagine you have a friend who's been driving their car for 2 years, and then you take a ride with them to work, and you pull out of the garage, and the car is like, and you're like, hey, and they were driving man, you're like, you can switch out of first gear, you know that, right? And they've had the car for 2 years, and they go, oh, that makes it so much simpler. Like, am I willing to give the person credit for something that they probably should have known in the beginning? Like, when you talk about this call between Biden and the Republican lawmaker, did she just not know? Did she just have no fucking idea how FEMA or the president or any with the response? Does she not know how it even works? And then when Biden called her, she's like, oh, whoa, that's actually really cool. Mike, we need to come back in and talk about this. It's crazy. We should actually vote for more. Like, what? Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Some speculate that all it took, these people, I think there's a narcissism, not just